The Miami Dolphins defense got absolutely embarrassed, allowing the Colts to score on all 7 possessions they had. First time a team has done that in the regular season since 1978. Well, as you could expect, some major changes are being made to this Miami Dolphins defense. And Anthony Weaver spoke to the media earlier today and outlined some of those changes being made. We're going to break it all down. The first one that is going to be on the horizon: more Willie Gay Jr. Well, folks, anything is more. Somehow, some way, after looking at the tape, looking at the snap count, Willie Gay Jr., the linebacker Miami signed in free agency, who was a standout in joint practices, training camp, and the preseason, did not play a single snap in the season opener against the Indianapolis Colts. Matter of fact, the backup linebacker KJ Britt didn't play either. It was Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson on the football field every single snap at linebacker. And those two are very good in their own right, specifically Brooks, but having Willie Gay Jr. being a DNP, flat out unacceptable. And Anthony Weaver realizes that, saying today that he's got to find a way to get Willie Gay on the field. And I told him that the next day after Sunday. The plan was to get him out there, but plans change. He's earned the right to get on the field, so I gotta make that happen. And we're going to break down this quote some more here in a second, but hit that sub button. This week we picked up 289 subscribers. Appreciate all the real ones joining the channel, but we're beating the Patriots to a pulp. Not enough, though, for my liking. Hit that sub button. Let's get to 74,000 before game day. We're about 270 away. How does Willie Gay not get a snap? Like, seriously, with everything that I've reported over August and July, everything that the Dolphins media members have reported, and what we've seen on the TV during the preseason, this guy was flat out dominating at every facet of the game. And he is such a versatile defender as well. He can line up wide and rush the passer almost as an edge. He can create havoc in that role. He can also create havoc over the middle of the field as a coverage linebacker. He is extremely athletic, ranging sideline to sideline. If we're going to be real here, I would rather have Willie Gay Jr. play for the Dolphins defense over Tyrell Dodson. I know you committed more money to Dodson this offseason, 2-year, $8.5 million deal in free agency, but I said it during training camp. You could go back and watch some of the videos we put out on practices. I said that Gay is progressing to be a starter over Dodson because he's more athletic, he's more energetic, and I think he's more of a leader. Maybe we see that come to fruition this Sunday. The second change for this Dolphins defense is more rookie. Dante Trader Jr., the 5th-round selection out of Maryland, who missed a lot of training camp and preseason with an injury. Well, he played 22 snaps on Sunday, and it seems like more may be on the horizon. Weaver saying he's one of those guys you're going to talk about being a coach on the field. He puts in the time, really excited about his trajectory. And in the same vein, he mentioned that you're likely going to see him more. Well, I briefly just alluded to it. He played in 22 snaps in this last Sunday's game against the Colts. That actually surprised me because, well, that was the 3rd safety. Minka led safeties and snaps. Will do that every week he's healthy. Melifonwu was number 2 with 50 snaps. And then Trader Jr. was 3rd with 22 snaps. And Ashtyn Davis saw about 10 or 11 snaps. So Trader Jr. was your 3rd safety, but he might be your number 2 safety this upcoming Sunday. And before we talk more about the safety position, pick a safety 2 opposite of Minkah Fitzpatrick. Type IM for Ifeatu Melifonwu, DT for Dante Trader Jr., or AD for Ashtyn Davis. I do think we are going to see a switch up at the safety position. We alluded to Trader Jr. getting more playing time. Well, it's because Melifonwu really struggled in his Dolphins debut as a starter opposite of Minkah Fitzpatrick. When you look at what he did, you can look at his PFF grades on the left. You could look at his coverage stats on the right. It simply was not good in all areas. Was targeted 3 times, allowed 3 completions on 3 targets. Allowed a touchdown, which we'll explain a little bit here, but also a QB rating of 1 target of 97.2. Was not graded out well as either in any facet of the game. Now, he did not specifically allow up a touchdown, but if you remember that wheel route touchdown that Michael Pittman Jr. had that we originally blamed on Storm Duck in the flat not getting deep enough. Well, Anthony Weaver said to the media today that he just flat out blamed Melifonwu. He was asked about that touchdown. He goes, yeah, that's on Ifeatu. We were in cover 2. The linebackers have to take the seam route that the tight end Tyler Warren was running, and he's got to recognize there's 2 seam routes, and he's got to stay in the middle between of them so he can get to each of them if it's thrown, rather than hedge so close to the middle, leaving Duck on an island, leaving Pittman Jr. wide open. So Melifonwu was to blame for that blown assignment where Pittman Jr. cut the real route on 2nd and 20 for a tutty. And maybe Dante Trader Jr. is just flat out better. In the 22 snaps that he played, he had 2 tackles and allowed 0 receptions on 0 targets. And I believe he had, if I'm not mistaken, a extremely good tackle in the red zone on a run play to where the running back Taylor was trying to break a tackle and reach across the end zone, and Trader Jr. came flying in to make sure that did not happen. I think I saw a lot of positive things from Trader Jr., which makes me want to play him more this upcoming Sunday, and it sounds like that will be the case. All right, make sure you get in on the action with PrizePicks, and you and I make decisions every single day. Well, with the right decisions on PrizePicks, you can get paid where it's good to be right. It's so simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks won't count it as a loss. They invented the flex play, which means you could still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. And I've got my entry in for the Dolphins game this upcoming Sunday. I'm going more than Drake May completions. He completed 30 in week 1. I think the Dolphins get a pair of field goals. They stall out in the red zone, so I'll take them more than on Riley Patterson, 1.5 field goals made. And I'll go less than Tua, longest completion, 34.5. He hasn't had a 35-yarder in a long time, folks. I'm going the less. Pair that up with the max discount on Travis Kelce, half a receiving yard, and make your lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. When I'm looking at that safety room right now, I don't think I would be upset if the Dolphins actually benched Ifeatu Melifonwu and demoted him from safety number 2 to safety number 4. And rolled with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Trader Jr., and Ashtyn Davis as your top 3 safeties. I don't think this is something that I would be pounding my fist on the table that the Dolphins need to do. But I just am open to it because the secondary was absolutely abysmal in week 1. And I know you're not supposed to overreact to just one bad game, but I'm an overreactionary person, and I'd like to see a new set of skill sets out there in the secondary. All right, the third change that the Dolphins defense is making. Zeke Biggers, the 7th-round rookie out of Georgia Tech, he is going into the lineup. Benito Jones left the game on Sunday with an oblique injury and with a pair of DNPs in practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He is likely not going to play, and Weaver said Biggers is going to be the next man up at nose tackle, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. I'll describe that more in a second. But you would obviously think that either Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, or Zeke Biggers is going to roll that role for Benito Jones, the nose tackle for the Dolphins. But I am very interested that Weaver said Biggers is going to be the next man up, because Jordan Phillips, in my opinion, was expected to be the backup nose tackle, at least the primary one, for Benito Jones, due to what we watched on film in the preseason, as well as his college career playing for Maryland. Remember, he had an awesome July and August for the Dolphins. And if you actually go back just to Sunday, Jordan Phillips played 33 snaps on the defensive line. He lined up at the nose tackle position in the A-gap, either over the center, just off the center, 18 times. He lined up in the B-gap, a little bit over the guards, 15 times. So when Benito Jones went down, he filled that role, and Zeke Biggers was inactive in that game on Sunday. So maybe it would have been different if he was active, but it's also telling that he was inactive. And if you actually go back to the preseason as well, yeah, Jordan Phillips is that backup. Like, he had 20 snaps in the A gap, 47 in the B gap. Zeke Biggers did 43 snaps in the B gap, only 2 in the A gap. So based off him being inactive, Phillips taking that backup role in week 1, as well as Jordan Phillips playing nose tackle in the A gap more in the preseason, I don't understand why Weaver would say Zeke is going to be the next man up for that role. Maybe he just means that he's going to be next man up in terms of he is now going to be active on Sunday and that fourth defensive lineman, because the Dolphins only keep 4 active on game days. Maybe that's the case. But I would expect Jordan Phillips to fill that role that Benito Jones is leaving, assuming he is out with that oblique injury. That's just me. But you pick a nose tackle down in the comment section. Jordan Phillips or Zeke Biggers. Type JP for Jordan Phillips or type ZB for Zeke Biggers. Let's just hope the defense rebounds. That's my point in making this video, because changes need to be made. Now, one of them was forced by injury, but when you allow Daniel Jones and the Colts to score on every possession they had, and statistically you were one of the worst defenses in week 1, just you have to naturally make changes, whether it's play calling, less blitzes. I've been very much open about wanting to dial back the blitzes. We led the NFL in a blitz percentage during week 1, and we need to change up our coverage on the back end as well. When you look at what the Dolphins did in terms of their pass coverage percentage, in week 1, they played man just 24% of the time, and it was cover 0, 6% to the 18% of cover 1. The Dolphins actually didn't run too high man coverage one time. Very interesting there. They ran zone cover 2 36% of the time, which was the highest rate in the NFL during week 1, with cover 3 and cover 4 15 and 18% of the time. No cover 6 for Miami in week 1. Point is, yeah, there is some coverage alignments that need to be changed. I'd like to dial back the cover 2, probably play more cover 2 man. So, like, they're just some, I think that maybe this is game plan dependent, and that is how Weaver thought it was best to attack the Colts offense, but he was evidently wrong. And I hope that he realizes that, adjusts, and has a better game plan for the New England Patriots, who played a lot of zone coverage against the Raiders. So you might see a lot of zone for Miami this week. All right, I'll do it for today's show. Make sure you hit that sub button for daily Dolphins coverage. We'll be live on Sunday for the game between New England and Miami, where the Dolphins hopefully get their first win of the season, and I hope to see you there.